We are following breaking news out of Dayton. That's just west of Biddeford. Reports of shots fired, possibly at police officers. Good evening for News 13 at 6. I'm Greg Lagerquist.
I'm Adrienne Stein in for Kim Block. The state police tactical team is responding to a reported shooting in Dayton. We are also hearing that a home and a vehicle were set on fire.
Yeah, our Melissa Bodner joins us now live from near that scene with more on this rapidly developing story. What can you tell us right now, Marissa?
Greg and Adrian, still a very active situation here as police say they're working to apprehend the suspect. They say fired shots at officers earlier this afternoon, but they're also battling a fire at the same address. The home, they say, is engulfed in flames. We've actually seen a good deal of dark smoke rising up into the sky. Now, the Maine State Police tactical team arrived around 5:30. The York County Sheriff tells us they're here to help devise a strategy. We're at the command post on Route 35. This is where police have set up. I'm going to step out. You can see it behind me. It's just outside the Goodwins Mills Fire Rescue Station. And police say the shooting this afternoon happened in the 600 block of Goodwins Mills Road. That's about a mile from here. It's right near the Lyman-Dayton town line. Now, York County Sheriff Morris Willett says the call came in around 3:30, 3:45, saying an individual had made some threats. They say the suspect fired several rounds at officers when they arrived. No one was injured. The sheriff tells us the suspect's wife was taken out of the house safely. A short time after, the sheriff says a call of a fire came at the house. Now, during all of this time, those who live nearby tell us police told them to stay inside their homes, but they were evacuated just about a half an hour ago. They describe a terrifying situation.
A lot of shots, both sides, in front of the house and back of the house. And then the SWAT team was behind my house. That was scary. And then they went behind the little house next to me. And yeah, it's scary. I feel like I'm in a movie. You know, you don't see this around here, especially here. It's quiet. It's nice.
Again, a very scary situation. A lot of people waiting to see what happens. Seeing lots of police cars and SWAT crews coming in, as well as ambulances. And we are being kept back a ways, so we can't see exactly what's going on. But we'll certainly keep you updated with information as we get it. In Lyman, Marissa Bodner, News 13. Greg and Adrian, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Marissa, thank you very much. A judge is changing his decision to release the addresses of alleged Johns in the Kennebunk prostitution case.
Yeah, that new list, including addresses, was just released, in fact, and has been posted now on our website.
Without addresses and full names, the initial list caused a lot of confusion, creating possible cases of mistaken identity. Now, innocent people could be getting pulled into the scandal. News 13's Steve Roldan has been following that part of the story. He joins us now live from Kennebunk. Steve.
Well, yeah, there have been a lot of questions as to the exact identities of the people on that list. I can tell you that one of the names is a Donald F. Hill, which is the same name as the head hockey coach here at Kennebunk High School. You can see right here in some of the video we had with him back in 2007 when we did a story with him. We're told he's been on the head coach here for hockey for 14 years. And just this morning, he called the athletic director, we're told by the superintendent, saying that he's stepping down for personal reasons. Now, still a lot of confusion as to who is who on this list, and it's left one man trying to give himself a better name.
I was absolutely appalled.
Shock and caught off guard. Paul Main of Alfred says it's been a sleepless 24 hours since the phone calls and emails started coming in. Even more disturbing for Main, seeing his name on the list of alleged Johns. He says he has nothing to do with Alexis Wright or Mark Strong Sr., both accused of running a prostitution operation out of a Kennebunk Zumba studio.
My first and foremost thought was to get to my two sons and my daughter and to let them know that it wasn't me.
Main is a former law enforcement worker who at one point ran for York County Sheriff. He says he feels his reputation has been harmed by the decision not to release the ages and addresses of those charged with soliciting a prostitute.
But I do know that those people who watch the news, who are interested in what goes on in their communities, and those people that know me, they'll know the real truth.
Now, Main said he's just grateful he had the opportunity to clear his name, and he's also grateful now that the addresses are out. So obviously he is not on the list. He is not one of those that is charged in this case. And as far as the list goes, we're told we can expect another round of names as early as next Friday. That's the latest live here in Kennebunk. Steve Roldan, News 13, back to you.
All right, Steve, thank you very much for the update.
All right, so already repercussions for folks involving this list. And we want to tell you, businessman and former mayor of South Portland is confirmed to be one of the Johns on this list.
News 13's Brad Rogers spoke with the man's family today. He joins us live with those details. Brad?
Well, I tell you what, family members do in fact confirm that James A. Soul, the name on the partial list of alleged Johns, is in fact, as you say, the former mayor of South Portland. And we tried to speak with Mr. Soul tonight at his home and also his business. We were told that he's recovering from knee replacement surgery. But his brother is talking to us.
This morning, it was confirmed that it was James A. Soul, my brother.
Mort Soul says he was surprised at first that his brother, James A. Soul, was an alleged client of Alexis Wright, the prostitute charged in this scandal, along with her alleged accomplice, Mark Strong Sr. But the more he thought about it, the more he believed it.
Initially surprised, but then when I began to think about it, I'm not surprised.
But others are incredibly surprised that a respectable business owner seen here, a former star football player at Bowdoin College, and a former city councilor and mayor of South Portland would be allegedly engaging in prostitution.
That one slip-up could affect his family. I hope he's given his private space and that they can get past this.
Mort, though, says his brother James has always had a level of arrogance.
Some may think that I'm seeking revenge or angry or simply jealous. But I'm certainly not jealous now.
Despite the embarrassment, Mort Soul says he has no problem with all these names coming out. He says these alleged Johns did not deserve special treatment. Along with the alleged client list, Kennebunk police also recovered secretly recorded sex tapes with clients and accused prostitute Alexis Wright.
It's disturbing, although, as I said, I'm really not that surprised. Sadly, the victims are his wife, his 3 children.
Well, we also tried to reach James Soul's son, who now runs the family business, but he did not return our calls. Family members also confirmed tonight, though, that James A. Soul did apologize to the employees of his company. Reporting live in South Portland, Brad Rogers, News 13. And Greg, this is only the beginning. There's still more than 100 other names on that list that have not yet been released.
Absolutely right, Brad. It's going to be spreading out. Thanks so much. Live in South Portland. Well, in Kennebunk, community resentment over this case has been growing, with more and more people saying they just want to move past the scandal and the growing negative national attention. Some of the community say they're worried about the potential damage naming the alleged clients could have on those people's families. Members of a group calling itself Kennebunk Moms say they're banding together to show community pride and support those affected by the scandal, most notably spouses and children. They say they want to make sure that the fallout from this prostitution scandal does not land on those most vulnerable.
But it's all about, no matter what happens, no matter who's on the list, let's make sure the kids are cool and that no one bullies the kids and that we're there for each other if anyone reaches out, if the spouse is on the list. The superintendent had a whole special communication with his staff to make sure you're looking out for kids whose parents might be on the list, make sure they are being taken care of, and that there's no joking and there's no, bullying.
We'd echo that. Kennebunk police say the next round of names is likely to come out next Friday in their bi-weekly police blotter.
There are others concerned about the negative publicity from the Kennebunk prostitution case. They are Zumba instructors in Maine. The owner of Intensity Fitness Dance Studio in Biddeford says she's noticed people rolling their eyes when they see her Zumba signs on her car. She also says instructors around Maine are worried that people will simply get the wrong idea about Zumba classes.
I just want people to know that if you have not tried Zumba, you need to try it. It has nothing to do with anything, any negative that people are talking about Zumba. It's not like that at all. Come try a class. Any Zumba instructor will tell you that they work hard on what they do.
Vicki Parent says Zumba is fitness dance and is a great workout. She hopes the fallout from the Kennebunk case won't hurt all the other legitimate businesses in Maine.
A Maine murder case that had gone cold for decades, but now, after all these years, an arrest. The murder occurred in the Augusta area way back in 1976. Today, an arrest was made way on the other side of the country. Our Jana Barnello joins us live from Augusta with this developing story. Jana.
Greg, we're here in Augusta outside the courthouse where police are hoping 63-year-old Gary Robb will have his day in court. Investigators believe he killed a 70-year-old woman 36 years ago. And according to this court paperwork, the key to cracking that cold case? Chewing gum. Gary Robb, a transient living in Seattle, is now behind bars. After 36 years, police say they have enough to prove he killed 70-year-old Blanche Kimball in Augusta back in June 1976. She was found stabbed multiple times in her home.
They were able to collect evidence that painted a very clear picture about what happened. I think it's fair to say that the science of technology hadn't caught up to them at that point.
According to newspaper archives, back then police believed Kimball knew her attacker. They suspected Robb, who went by Gary Wilson at the time, but they couldn't tie him to the murder.
Blanche had a habit of taking in short-time renters, and we believe that was their relationship back then.
Investigators say they looked at the case over the years, but it wasn't until last year that they got a lead. They found a man's blood on some of the evidence through DNA testing. Again, police suspected Robb. They tracked him to Seattle, where the homeless man was suspected in a stabbing. An undercover officer convinced him to do a gum chewing test. They sent the gum to Maine, and the DNA lab says Gary's gum matched the blood DNA found in Blanche's home.
Blanche died in 1976, and her story needed to be told. And if we could hold somebody accountable for that death, then that's what we need to do, no matter how long it takes.
This is a 36-year-old case that we didn't give up on, and that's why it's important. And any of these other cases that are unsolved, I think, and I hope this sends a message that we're working on those cases as well.
Now, Blanche Kimball was single and only child. She has very few surviving family members, but Maine State Police say they did track down a second cousin in New Hampshire to let that person know of the arrest. As for Gary Robb, he appeared in a courtroom in Seattle today. A judge set his bail at $1.5 million. There's still no word on when he'll be sent back to Maine to face his murder charge. Live in Augusta, I'm Jana Barnello, News 13. Greg Adrian, back to you.
Good to know, Jana. The investigators never give up on a case like this. Thanks so much.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast with Charlie DePresti.
Well, welcome back, everyone. Skies are clearing out and temps going to cool off tonight. Temps will cool quickly with overnight lows bottoming on the 30s for most towns. Let's take a look at your 3-day forecast. Sunshine will dominate the sky tomorrow with mostly sunny skies. Mostly sunny on Thursday as well. There'll be a few high thin clouds that day as warmer air tries to punch in. Our next rain and wind storm arrives late Friday night and into Saturday. Hey, today, of course, we had a hard time breaking out of the clouds, but we did eventually. Here's a look back at your time lapse from our Portland sky cam. A nice bright sunny sky just before the sun set this evening. Of course, our rainstorm that we had last night, that has moved off to the north. The last of the rain, there it is, moving out to Nova Scotia. We have a nice clearing trend underway. If you still have a few clouds, those will melt away as we lose the daytime heating. Hey, temps are cooling pretty quickly. We're already down to 49 in Portland, 49 here in the city, heading back into Augusta, mid-40s for you. Look at Sanford, upper 40s. There are areas dipping into the low 40s already. Berlin, New Hampshire, Mount Washington, it's been snowing up there. It's at 19 degrees. Lows tonight will bottom out in the 30s at the coastline, some 20s for inland towns. So tonight will be the coldest night of the next several. With the clear skies and light winds, those temps are going to cool off pretty quickly. Okay, the last of our storm, there it is right there. Say goodbye to that. Tomorrow we are going to see high pressure build in. That means bright sunny skies for Wednesday and Thursday. There is a weak warm front. You can see a few clouds to our west associated with that. That moves through on Thursday morning. They'll be of the high thin variety. They should just dim the sun a little bit. Really, it's not going to be a big deal. I think a pair of delightful days are heading our way. It's going to be cool though tomorrow. We're out of the gates with temps running in the 30s. So if you're heading off to work or school early in the day, you want to grab that extra jacket. In fact, some of you may even need the ice scrapers early in the morning. A few spots will be below freezing this 7 o'clock in the morning with mostly sunny skies. Mostly sunny for tomorrow afternoon with highs in the mid to upper 50s. A few spots may even touch 60 degrees. A little wind coming in off the ocean during the afternoon, so coastal areas will be a tad cooler or not as warm than inland areas. There are those high thin clouds I was telling you about that early Thursday morning, but by afternoon, 3 o'clock, still mostly sunny. Some of those high clouds may just dim the sun a little bit. It's not going to be a big deal. High temps around 60 degrees. Some inland towns may briefly touch the mid-60s. Lows tonight bottom out in the 30s. A south wind around 5 to 10. Some 20s inland. Upper 50s for highs tomorrow. I think a nice looking day. Not nearly as windy as today. Our next rain and wind storm, that arrives Friday into Saturday. The timing is still a little uncertain, so stay tuned, but it looks like many towns will get at least an inch of rain out of that one. Sunday looks to be a little bit better than Saturday at this point. So we'll watch that one in the near term. We'll enjoy a little sun tomorrow.
Yeah, it sounds great.
That's good.
It does.
Charlie, thanks.
Thank you.